Saturday, June 19th on Accelerated Radio Network. This is Black Gold.
You are black gold, black gold. You are black gold.
Welcome once again, y'all, to Black Gold, the show where every week we celebrate all the great music and music makers who are part of, inspired by, or derived from the canon of great black music. Become a full or partial show sponsor of Black Gold on Accelerated Radio and let us carry your brand to a mature listening audience of Gen Xers and millennials with discriminating tastes, cultural pride, and an active desire to support and lift the black community. Find out on acceleratedраdio.net how your sponsorship of our shows go to support the Accelerated Radio Academy, where the next generation of great radio producers and podcasters are being born. To become a sponsor of Black Gold or to become a community partner, reach out to us online at radioblackgold.com/sponsors and by email at radioblackgold@gmail.com and become part of the show that celebrates all that is golden and all that is black. Happy Saturday. I love to say it to you. Happy Saturday, everyone. All is well and getting better here at Black Gold. I always hope that we can say the same for you. Now, if you had fun last week, because we went pretty classic last week, right, with the songwriters Norman Whitfield and Company, this week we're bringing you a taste of honey. You know her. You know the songs. You know the songs such as One Monkey Don't Stop No Show, Stick Up, One Ads. It's one of those groups that make you groove and make you feel like everything is just as good as it always was. So in celebration of Black Music Month, we celebrate with Shelly Clark White of the Honeycomb on Black Gold. Let's have some fun. Come on.
Black gold, black gold. You are black gold. You are black gold, black gold. You are black gold.
Thank you always. She sounds so pretty. Thank you, Esperanza, darling. Wherever you are. All right now, Honeycomb.
Life is a play.
right now. One monkey don't stop no show, and the show must go on. And we're here at the show going on is Black Gold. We're back. I'm so happy to be back. It is Saturday, June 19th, and that is by One Monkey Don't Stop No Show. Let me do it right. That is the song by the girl group Honeycomb from 1971. That one went to number 5 on the Billboard Billboard R&B chart, and number 15 on the Hot 100. Also charted in Australia and Canada, and it was written by General Johnson and Greg Perry from the Honeycomb Soulful Tapestry album from Hot Wax Records, 1971. But welcome to Black Gold, everybody. Thank you to everyone who is listening in on the Accelerated Radio app. Please show your love on the app by hitting that heart. To those of you who are new to Black Gold, I am Tariq King, and every week we celebrate all the great music and music makers from Black music, and this is Black Music Month. Also, the best way, of course, those of you who want to watch us on YouTube, hello, I see you there looking. We got the comp. No? All right, they haven't started up yet. But always find us on YouTube by searching for Black Gold Radio on YouTube to find our channel. But of course, the best way to keep in touch with us is to text the words Black Gold and join our community at 917-809-7145, because we're doing something great every week. This is just one of those it's particularly good ones. I think we got a special episode here for Black Music Month. But real quick, and in the name of history, happy Juneteenth, right? How you doing, Rashid? Let's talk about this real quick. How you doing, Rashid?
Doing good.
Good. I heard you guys were having some intense conversations on that last show. You went from vaccines, so you guys were all over the gamut, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna reel you in because we got a lot of good music today. So I hope you got it off. But It is Juneteenth. So do you feel good about this Juneteenth holiday?
I mean, it's a small victory. It's progress, but it's not, the progress that needs to happen. But, at least it's recognized.
It's a little something, right?
Yeah.
See, I'm actually old enough to remember when the Martin Luther King holiday went legal, all right? And I think that people were a lot more excited then. This time, there seems to be a kind of collective whatever about the situation. But I could be wrong. And actually, it's one of those questions I'd like to ask our guests when we get her to join. We're going to be talking to, in just a moment, we're going to connect with Shelly Clark White, who is of the group The Honeycomb. Now, if you are not familiar with The Honeycomb as a group, you will be by the end of this hour, that's for sure. And I'm sure you're familiar with their number one single, One Ads or Stick Up. We'll get there. But it's a group that was formed by lead singer Edna Wright, who's the sister of Darlene Love. And it contained Edna with Carolyn Willis and Shelly Clark. They formed in 1968, and they had this real run of hits from 1968 to 1973 on Hot Wax Records, which is a historically significant label in black music. So if you don't know Honeycomb, you will in a moment, and we want to make sure we get this started. So we're going to go through the chronology of the singles that they've gone through, but there's one that I particularly like, and I want to get this one rolling, then let's see if we could get Miss Shelly to connect with us, okay? So I want to go off of that same album. This is one from the album called Soulful Tapestry. Now this one we can do this one outside the box because this one didn't chart and wasn't a released single and everything, but it's one of my personal favorites. So we want to set the stage from Miss Shelly with Sunday Morning People from Soulful Tapestry. Hang out with us on Black Gold, and we'll be right back with Miss Shelly Clark White. All right?
Sunday morning people, better listen to me. You go to church on Sunday, hate your neighbor all week. You pray as loud as you can now. Turn your back on your fellow man now. You swear you're on the level, then shake hands with the devil. You've got to help your brothers 7 days a week. If peace and happiness is what you seek, Sunday morning people, practice what you preach. You can't go to church all Sunday and hate your neighbor all week. You know the man upstairs is watching you, yeah, he's watching. So you call yourself to do things you don't wanna do, like sharing with the poor at the church door. 'Cause every Sunday morning you ask him to forgive, but you go on sinning every hour you live. Sunday morning people, woo!
Now, that's Sunday Morning People. I done messed up already. I said it was from the wrong album. That's not from the Soulful Tapestry album. That is from the Take Me With You album. Right? It looks like we've got Miss Shelly on the line. Did I get that right, Miss Shelly?
Hey, we're
How
all
are
here.
you? How are
Hi.
you? You look wonderful.
Thank you. So do you guys. Thank you for having me.
It's such a pleasure. It's such a pleasure. We Black Gold is a show where we really want to introduce people by name to our audience. They know the songs, but I want to make sure that they know all the individual names behind it. So it's a real pleasure for me to get to introduce our audience to you.
Thank you. Thank you.
So how are you, really quickly though, before we start talking about you and Honeycomb and everything, I was just asking my engineer how he felt about this legalization of the Juneteenth holiday, because we're both feeling a little bit blasé about it, but I don't know, for you, you may see this a little bit differently. You've been out there on the road for all these years. You know what I mean? How are you feeling about this new legal holiday?
Listen, I'm with Rashid. I listened to the show a little earlier, and I say the same thing. You know, it's a small victory, and I guess we're happy for all victories, but we know that there's so much more that they can do and we can do, and so I'm just looking forward to, that, to better times.
Amen. Maybe I'm wondering, maybe it'll have a little bit more meaning going forward than it does today. You know what I mean? Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe it'll be a slow build.
Right.
Yeah. But at the moment, I'm not all that excited about it myself. I personally would appreciate the reparations check before that.
There it is.
Okay? You can give me 4 acres and a dog or something. Anyway. But all right, moving on, but let's talk about the history that we can love on. We are celebrating Black Music Month, and of course Black Gold is all about celebrating the history of music that lives today. This year marks, if you can believe it, 50 years, right, since the release of Soulful Tapestry, 1971. Yes. Can you believe it? Would you have thought that the songs from that record would still be playing 50 years later?
No, not at all. And I'm just really proud that 50 years, we're still standing, at least some of us. Carolyn Willis is, she has retired, but she's still with us. Our founder, Edna Wright, rest in peace,
yes,
left us September 12th of last year, very suddenly.
Yeah.
Yes. And that was a real heartbreaker, a real shocker. But she lives on. Her legacy lives on through the music, and so we're happy for that.
Yes, and it sounds just as fresh then as it's fresh now as it did then. And listen, there's so many great tunes. Like I was trying to rattle them off the top of my head in the intro, and I think our audience may know. Yeah, they may immediately click in for 3 of them, maybe 4 of them, but there's so many great Honeycomb tunes, several of which we will pause our chat to play for the people during this hour. All right, but first let's talk about the young Shelly, or the young Michelle Clark. Let's talk about you, my dear lady, because prior to Honeycomb, there was this there was a career to speak of. You could have stopped before Honeycomb and be a really good interview. You were a child singer and a performer well before the group, right?
That's correct.
I knew that I would like you as soon as I read that it started in Brooklyn.
Hey.
So tell us the story. You started in Brooklyn. You were born to musical parents, right? Let's talk about your musical beginnings.
Yes, my mother was a concert pianist, and my dad, he just naturally was like a Sammy Davis Jr. type of guy. He could sing, dance, he could actually whistle. He could, like along with songs beautifully.
In tune,
and just, do runs with the whistling, and
that's a gift.
Isn't it?
Yes.
What's her name? Aribo. She's a great whistler.
Cynthia Erivo.
Yes, she has a song where she does all whistling. It's fantastic. But back to my mother, she would always play piano, and somehow I would, at 2 years old, I would sing along, and I would harmonize, and she would play, and I'd just be sitting on the floor playing with stuff and singing whatever she played, and she was astonished. She called my dad and she said, "Oh my God, this girl has perfect pitch. Come in here and listen to this." And I didn't know, what I was. I just knew I liked music, and I was singing to whatever she was, mostly classical stuff. And so he just said, "Okay, well, let's teach her some songs." So they did that, and they put me in a pageant, and I think I sang "How Much Is That Doggy in the Window," rough, and I killed it. And
nailed it.
nailed it. And so then I started getting work. People started calling and saying, and so then they said, "Well, let's put a brother in the act." I have an older brother, rest in peace. He passed away a few years ago. But at that time, we were billed as the Clark Kids, and he taught us how to sing and dance, and we took off from there. We were in private school all the time because we were always working.
Okay. Now, I'm glad that you brought up the Clark Kids because we dug up a little historical artifact here. All right.
Okay.
So for those who don't know, you guys released an album when you were, how old were you when this album, Calypso Songs for Children, came out? Michelle Clark.
It was either 7 years old, 9 years old, something to that effect. They came and got us out of a Broadway play I think we were in at the time, and producers from Columbia. And so we can't let them go because every night on stage, and they said, "No, we're going to knock this album out in 2 days." And so can you imagine these two kids? They throw us in the studio and we're just singing songs back to back. And the album actually was released, and it was put in all the entire school system in New York to teach children how to sing and play percussion at the same time.
Huge. I mean, it's pretty remarkable actually. That I actually wasn't sure if this was before or after the Broadway show. Actually, I have a question about the Broadway show because it says that you were doing, according to the research, the Broadway show was about age 7 or so. So let's say you were 7 or 8 or so. And Rashid, you see that excerpt? What's that one called? What's it called?
Jamaican pudding.
Jamaican pudding. Yes.
Oh no.
I lived Shelly Clark White. Okay, so if you think it's all about honeycomb and she looks phenomenal, if you're watching us on YouTube, let's listen to 7, 8-year-old Shelly Clark White and her brother. What's your brother's name?
Ilya.
Her brother Ilya and Shelly Clark. Comes some Jamaican pudding. Just give us a little bit of that Jamaican pudding because this is where the funk began. Come on, Rashid. Come on.
Oh Lord.
Mama make fine Jamaica pudding, sets it right out on the shelf to cool. Mama, she watch Jamaica pudding. Mama, she smart, so do not try to fool. No one in the doorway, house is deserted. Not one child is to be seen. Suddenly, 1, 2, 3, 4 children.
Okay, she's cringing.
Oh, Mama make fine Jamaica.
Oh, she's enjoying it. Turn it up.
Set it right out on the shelf to cool. Mama, she watch Jamaica pudding. Mama, she's smart, so do not try to fool.
Okay, all right, that's enough. Because let me tell you, I so thoroughly enjoyed that because I too was a little American black kid in Brooklyn who they tried to make sing with a Jamaican accent. They tried.
Come on, man.
They tried to
Jamaica.
Oh Lord, Rashid. And I think they did it to him in L.A. too. But I was just like, no,
they made me say make a joke.
Those are some Brooklyn children singing Jamaican pudding. I loved it. Loved it.
Oh no, they made me sing MJ.
Well, yes, they did, Rashid. Yes, we did. We'll take you to the support group after the show. So listen. So that was coming out of you guys at that time. Were doing a Broadway show. On top of it, you were 7 and a little bit older than that, doing House of Flowers. You were in a Broadway show with Pearl Bailey and Diane Carroll. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, so what was it like at that age doing a show in retrospect now? Because I guess when you're a kid, you don't even think about it, but 8 shows a week on Broadway.
Well, the backstory is that we auditioned about, the casting call said, we need 2 boys for a musical play that is starring Pearl Bailey and Diane Carroll, who of course was 18 at that time. And so my father said, okay, well, we're going to go to this audition anyway. So we went, and the producers came to my father and they said, we love your kids the best. And I even think that the Hines kids, you remember Hines and Dad, Gregory and
Maurice.
Right, and Maurice. They were at the audition too, and I think, but my father was like, he was the original Joe Jackson. He was, we could not make a mistake. So people thought we were midgets because they said, kids can't dance like this. I understand they did the same thing to Sammy Davis Jr. when he
and
was
to
little.
Michael Jackson, yeah.
And they said midgets, they can't be, but we were kids, and they came to my father and said, well, we love your kids, but like we said, this is a casting call for 2 boys. And my father said, okay, you want 2 boys? Hold on. So he takes me in the bathroom and cuts off all my hair, and brings me back out, and I have no hair but tears streaming down my face. And he goes, you got your 2 boys. And so the producer said, you're hired.
Without a follow-up.
He was the original, my father, the original, I want to say, entrepreneur.
Okay. Well, man. Okay. Well, wow. Follow-up question. Was that a happy occasion for you? Because on the one hand, drama, but then on the other hand, you got the show. Which one weighed out more?
Well, after he explained to me that your hair is going to grow back, and right now, I had no concept of money, but he said, this is what you will be able to make in terms of, he put in terms of toys, And so I figured, okay, well, maybe that's not such a bad thing. You sure my hair is going to grow back as long as it was? It was probably black and down to here, same thing. And he said, I promise you it'll grow back. So over time, I got used to it. The idea was that we were to attend, the Flowers were prostitutes. So the House of Flowers was House of Prostitution. And in the Bahamas, where it was set, this play was set in the Bahamas.
Yes.
There had to be 2 little boys who took care of the girls, in which case we had to come on stage with no shirt because it was hot,
Right.
So we're shirtless and we're in shorts. And so no one really knew that I was not a boy and we had to fan the girls and feed them tea. And this is how we took care of them in between clients,
Wow.
And so, that was the backstory for the House of Flowers, but who knew it would run 7-8 months? We got to meet all the great dancers, Alvin Ailey and Geoffrey Holder and his wife. He married her during this play, Carmen de la Verdad. She's lovely. She's got the Kennedy Center honors.
Yes.
And beautiful dancer, beautiful girl. They got married during the course of this play. But all the people that, I think Juanita Hall, remember her from South Pacific? Juanita Hall, the heavy-set woman.
I'm not even going to fake her out. The name, I would have to Google. We're pretty quick with our fingers, but it's not coming immediately back yet. I'll be transparent. It didn't come. But I did know.
She did a lot. So she was in it. And it was just a star-studded, type of play. And we were fortunate that it did so well. Nothing ran 7-8 months in those days.
Okay, yeah, I remember now. I see the image from Flower Drum Song. Absolutely,
Flower Drum Song,
legendary. Absolutely,
and South Pacific, right?
Yeah. Wow, that's pretty astonishing. I actually saw the House of Flowers remake with Patti LaBelle. I'm trying to place what year was it. It was a very quick revival, very limited. It didn't last. Yeah, but I was really young at the time, and that was my first exposure to the show, and I never quite made the connection that there were 2 boys. I never made that connection. That's a remarkable story.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Our names were Do and Don't, and when it's funny because when we saw Geoffrey Holder at a fundraiser, and I'm all the way now in the honeycomb, and I'm showing up with Verdine, my husband, and I go up to him and I go, "Hi, Mr. Holder. You probably don't remember me, I'm sure, but I was in the House of Flowers with you." And he thought I was in the Patti LaBelle or whatever version that you saw. And I said, "No, I was in the version with you in the original House of Flowers, 1955, 57." And he said, "Oh my God, it's Dude." He said, he called me by my name.
Yeah.
It's Dude. And he called his wife, Carmen. He said, "Carmen, come over here. It's Dude." She was like, right?
The once and forever do, but
Right?
I don't think I'd forget you either. That's pretty on point, So, and then after that, so you guys, and you continued after that, because it was, 8 months is a relatively, I don't know, it's a good run for a musical, especially at that point. Like, you have to place it in time, with that many people of color in one production. It was a pretty landmark event. So, we hear about Phantom and Cats, and they run for decades and everything, but 8 months of House of Flowers was a tremendous breakthrough for Broadway at the time. So it's phenomenal that you were part of it. And then after that, you left New York, you moved to California with your family, and
well, not quite.
Okay.
After that, I toured with Cab Calloway, and that was another 8 months on the road with him.
Before moving to California. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
The Cotton Club Review. So tell us what that was and what your role was in it.
Well, I was on stage with Cab every night. We toured all the major cities. We toured a lot in the South, Las Vegas, everywhere. And my mother, being a white lady, she could not stay with us in the black hotels. This is just as Juneteenth. Since we're talking Juneteenth,
amen. It's Black Music Month. We go in history. Yes,
we're going history here. And so she had to stay in the white hotels. And so I have her relatives in Florida when we played the South down there. And I could not be seen in the car going to visit them. So they used to put a blanket over me and shove me down on the floor or in the trunk. And then I could go visit my white relatives. And then I had to go back to a black hotel after that. And just, America is amazing sometimes, and you go, oh my God.
Yeah.
But she would have been arrested had she been seen with me.
Wow. And now you were contending with this. You were fully aware because you were about 9 or 10 years old, I want to say, at that time, right?
I could read colored only, and I could read white drinking faucet and white bathroom. And my mother said, it's a bad time in America. The black man, she used to say, the black man used to be in power in the world, and somehow it has shifted, but it will be back again. And it's important that you know that and just stay relevant and just stay, do all the right things.
Optimistic.
And there's a power shift again.
Yeah, that one. And it's interesting because this is the Cotton Club Review. For those members of the audience who are familiar with the Cotton Club itself, right, which was the Harlem Club, this is a little bit different. This was a traveling road show, but were the audiences just as segregated? Because the historically significant thing about the Cotton Club is that it was black performers for all white audiences, right? Was that the same experience that you had as a 10-year-old on the road? Yes,
but actually they would allow in, because they allowed in Lena Horne, and because I have pictures with her, of course, and Nat King Cole. And if you were some sort of celebrity, black celebrity, you could get in to see the shows. They were predominantly white audiences, though.
Mm-hmm. White people and the talented 10th, perhaps, the black folks with means who, that's so did that affect your stage work at all? Because obviously you were aware of it. Would that have detracted from the joy for a 10-year-old, or did you view it as work? How did you process that with your young mind?
Processed it as work, and I didn't know any better, that I wasn't leading a normal childhood, playing with kids and, playing jacks and all that stuff. All I knew is that this was my work, and I knew that Cab Calloway did not really like me because he wanted his daughter to have the role, and she auditioned, but just, didn't make it. They needed a professional who could sing and dance and actually be on par with a person of his talent and, sing on key and harmonize with him.
And you had the stuff.
Yeah. Okay.
And she didn't have the stuff. You see, I'm smiling as you said that. I know you said Cab Calloway didn't like you. I don't know if you saw. I kind of grinned, but I don't think it was you. I've heard so many Cab Calloway didn't like me stories that what I mean. I think Cab Calloway I don't think it was you, my dear. You were 10 years old. I don't think you did it. You were 10 years old. You didn't do anything to that man.
Okay. Okay.
But no, I've heard that Cab.
Well, I know he really did beg the producers to give the role to his daughter so he could spend time with her,
Right.
and they told him absolutely not. So there's a little bit that he was resentful toward me, and probably for that reason. Even though there probably are some other stories, but this one I know to be true.
All right, yeah, but the show must go on. Like they said, one monkey don't stop no show, right? I mean,
Okay.
and were it not for that, like we may have gotten Honeycomb. So I don't think that I don't know if Miss Calloway's young Miss Calloway would have been able to do what you did with Honeycomb, right? So it worked out the way it should. I think
it worked out. It worked out.
Worked out. So okay, that's just your youth, So what happened? Did you get any type of, because according, when you do research on people, it comes in the form of highlights, right? And so there's a big dot on the map with you doing the Cotton Club Review, and then next is you're doing session work at USC. So did you have a teenage,
well,
did you get to hang out as a teenager before?
Okay, actually, we followed the Dodgers out here. It was the Brooklyn Dodgers, right? Now they're the LA Dodgers.
Yes.
And in '57, they made the transition, and we did too. My father saw Hollywood. I came out here and started living a sort of normal life, a more normal life, and went to high school at LA High, in which case I auditioned. We started singing more. We did a little dancing, but not as much, me and my brother. Not
you and your
as
brother.
Much. My father said, I'm going to retire. You kids take it from this point on.
Right.
So I started singing more. It was easier, less, taxing on the body. And I won a scholarship to USC. But This was, I'm sort of like a Broadway kid. So that's all I knew. I didn't know gospel, R&B, all of that. So although I liked it, I didn't necessarily sing it. I sang mostly songs from Broadway musicals. Right. And so I auditioned as an opera with 2 selections, because that's what they needed. And I won a scholarship to go to USC while I was still in high school. So very quickly, I was leaving high school every day at 2 o'clock, taking the bus to USC and studying music, and with an operatic teacher who kept telling me, why are you coming in hoarse every week? What are you doing on the weekends? And I said, well, I sing with my brother. We have an act, a hootenanny act. She said, well, you got to make a decision, because there's not going to be a lot of roles for you as a black opera star. So I suggest you possibly do that. And get it. So I got away from the opera. Little did I know. I mean, I'm just graduated high school. I'm being approached by Tina Turner's people, and they said, we need it right away. We heard you can sing. We need an Ikette right away. Can you? She came to my house to audition me. She happened to be married to one of the Temptations. Her name was Ann Kane. Very beautiful black woman. Mm-hmm. And so she watched me audition my home. And she said, great, you'll do fine. You're going to fly out in the morning. And I said, well, in the morning? Wait a minute. Wait, what? And so I did exactly that. I flew out the next day going to, I think it was St. Louis. And from that point, I was like an Ikette until we had the horrible bus accident. And I know I jumped ahead, but, for the sake of time.
It works. Keep going. So you were an Ikette, basically, hired out of USC. They auditioned you in your house, right? Who came to the house? Did Ike come to the house, or just
No, they were on the road.
They were on the road. Okay, so it was.
Ann Kane came to the house.
Ann came, okay.
Ann Kane. She was
Flew you
married. I
out.
want to say she was married to Otis Williams
Okay.
of the Temptations,
Mhm.
and
History.
but she happened to be like an executive secretary for Ike at the
Okay.
time.
Mm-hmm.
So they auditioned me. She auditioned me, flew me right out, and I stayed in Ike until the bus accident, and they had to leave me in the hospital.
So okay, so you say there was a bus accident. How long were you out with Ike and Tina at as an Ikeette before that happened? How long were you on the road with them?
It was no more. I thought it was longer, but in doing my own research, because I had to look back and see what happened, I don't think I was an Ikeette more than 6 months before the bus driver fell asleep at the wheel, and he hit an embankment, and it turned over. The bus did 3 revolutions. They tell me later, and all I remember is that I was taken to the hospital. But Al McKay with Earth, Wind and Fire was the guitar player, and so I just remember looking up at him, and he said, "Shelly, wake up! Are you alive? Wake up!" And I said, "Al, I have a headache." I didn't know where I was. All I know
Good
is
response. My head hurts.
my head hurts. And he said, and then next thing I heard, paramedics were coming, and they took me to the hospital. But I told Al, I said, "Look at the bus driver, he's falling asleep." And Al said, "Oh, we were all tired. He said, go up there and talk to him." So I did.
And
but
how
it didn't
long?
work.
So you had to recuperate. I don't. Do you mind me asking how extensive were your injuries? How long did you have to? What did you have to recuperate from, and for how long?
Yeah, my legs were pretty mangled in that accident, and I think I was on bed rest and the mend, and maybe 2 or 3 months later, and that kind of thing, I got a call from Little Richard's camp, and he asked me. They said they needed a dancer, and I said, "Oh, rats." I was hoping they wanted a singer, but they wanted a dancer, and myself and Byron Gillian passed the audition. And Byron was on Laugh-In. You remember the tall, elegant dancer on Laugh-In?
I do, from clips. Yes, yes, absolutely.
Byron and Playboy After Dark, right? And so the two of us toured with Richard for the next 2 or 3. We opened the show for him, and Richard came out after that. And I would always say, "Richard, can I sing? Will you let me sing this week? I can do a song before you come on." And he would say, "Okay, Shirley, let me think about it, Shirley."
Right.
And so I never got a chance to sing.
Yikes. What a story. And all of this before we even get to Honeycomb. I feel like we ought to give you a breath, Miss Shelly White. Let's give you a breath. So I want to spin a Honeycomb song real quick, okay? So let's go with, I want to go with the first single for Honeycomb, right? The very first one. What was the very first single?
While You're Out Looking for Sugar?
Yes. Now tell us.
Well, that was the first song that we cut ever.
Okay. And so you want to set that one up for us, like how to come to you, and we'll get to the story of the formation of Honeycomb after this. But just tell us, this what this song is about, and set it up for us. So talk us into it. And we'll give you a breath.
Well, we had some of the greatest producers, as you mentioned, General Johnson from chairman of the board, Greg Perry, who eventually married Edna. They were married 45 years. But we had great Angelo Bond and Ronnie Dunbar. We had producers who were thinking, they were like in the heads of women. And so these lyrics and these beats were just so timely for the time, because up until we came along, it was all, a baby come back, and
yes.
Everything was love this and heat wave and burning in my heart and all of this stuff from Motown. But here come the Honeycomb with all these sassy lyrics. While you're out looking for sugar, right? Somebody is going to take your honey and be gone. And then we had a slew of songs with lyrics that were just, we were emancipated.
Yes,
yes. So we were telling men, finally, you don't want me? That's okay. I'll find somebody else. So I credit our producers for these great songs with the great lyrics. We had a great lead singer, Edna Wright, from the Kojics. Church of God in Christ and the Raylettes. I mean, this girl had a history. And then we had Carolyn Willis, who was she was a genius with harmony and backgrounds.
Mm-hmm. And
Okay.
such a presence on stage. All of you. But
Thank
we'll give you a breath. And like she said, you know, the lyrics on this, While You're Out Looking for Sugar, is not only the first single for the Honeycomb, but is actually the first single ever released on Hot Wax. And we'll talk about the significance of Hot Wax and Holland Dozier Holland, who formed it, and etc. When we come back after this one, we'll talk a little bit more with Miss Shelly Clark White. But right now, get into this one. Listen to the lyric, Rashid. Learn something. Rashid's young. We're schooling Rashid on here today.
Okay, Rashid.
So listen to the lyric, Rashid. While You Out Looking for Sugar on Black Gold. Talk to you soon.
Night after night, sitting all alone while you're in the arms of someone else. Now don't you know that while you're out and looking for sugar, somebody's gonna take your honey and be gone. While you're out and looking for sugar, somebody's gonna take your honey and be gone. You just buzz, 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 here and there, spreading your love. You think you're a sugar roll daddy with a candy kiss. You think without your love I can't exist. Don't think for a minute, 'cause I'm through. That don't nobody want me but you. Oh, while you're out looking for sugar, one day somebody's gonna take your honey and they're gone. How long can I be faithful? Truly, I don't know. But if I find myself in the arms of someone else, darling, it's all your fault. While you're out looking for sugar, somebody's gonna take your honey and be gone. While you're out looking for sugar, one day somebody's gonna take your honey and be gone. Buzz, buzz, buzzing here and there, you're just spreading your love everywhere. From another woman's door you come sneaking, back to my door you come creeping. You're sneaking across the floor with your shoes in your hands. How much more do you think I can stand? While you're out looking for sugar, somebody's gonna take your honey and be gone. While you're out looking for sugar, somebody's gonna take your honey and be gone.
See, they don't make them sassy like that, you know. And it teases you, you know. It says just enough and then takes it back. You know what I mean? A little bit of an entendre and then take it back. I love it.
And I don't know if you know the UK soul artist Joss Stone.
I was just
but
gonna
she did a
ask you.
remake.
Yeah,
She did a remake of it.
I was just gonna ask you, what did you think of her remake? How did you feel about it? Did you enjoy it?
Well, you know, I like ours a lot better, but she had a record company executive that happened to be a Honeycomb super fan. And
Yes.
so the record company executive told her, "You're going to do a song by Honeycomb,
Pick
and
one.
let me pick." And she didn't have a choice. Let me pick out which one. And so they settled on that one, and she did her version of it, a little jazzier, a little slower, but you know, you can't beat the original.
Right, you rarely can you. And she, you know, I'll say this. I'll give her. When I heard it, I thought, well, I will at least show her respect for showing respect. I didn't realize that the record executive had forced the issue. I thought it was an artistic choice on her part. But I said, well, you know, at least the girl's got taste. And she worked with Betty Wright a lot, right? You know, I mean, she was kind of a Betty Wright protege, right? So, you know, we give her props for trying, you know, because there are not enough people trying trying. You know what I mean?
And you know what? We always love and honor the people that remake our songs, and with my husband Verdine and Earth, Wind and Fire. A long time ago, he would say, "Wow, damn it, that rapper sampled our song again." And then he opened the check and said, "You know what? That's a pretty good song."
That's all right with me. I think I like it now. It's grown on me. You know,
it's growing on me. I think I like it.
That'll do it, if nothing else. I have to tell you, we have some people in the chat who want make sure that, I don't know if you can see if you're not looking on YouTube, but it says they're saying that you look great, and hey Shelly, they say you look beautiful, and Honeycomb is a favorite group of some of the chat people in here. So just want to thank you all for paying attention to the chat, and those of you who joined for Shelly, stay with us. Come on, subscribe to Black Gold, like and subscribe and do all that stuff, right, Rashid? I'm supposed to beg the people to do that, Rashid, right?
Yes, like, comment, subscribe.
Okay, very good. You know, they have to bring me. I'm a Gen Xer. You know what I mean? So they have to. I don't like begging. If you don't want, no, but please like it. Please like it, and that's how we do this now. Okay. While you're out looking for sugar.
Shout out to all the baby boomers.
Amen. Yeah, you know what I mean? The baby boomers, I'm not even going to ask the baby boomers to do anything. I'm just glad that y'all passed through. I'm not going to ask you to save anything. Who wants to be bothered? But I just want to make sure we do the chart positions that while you're out looking for sugar, peaked at number 26 on the Billboard R&B chart. And however, it was the next one went a little bit higher. But before we get to that, let's talk about the formation of Honeycomb. I'll let you tell the narrative. Who came to who and who came to you?
Okay. Well, I met Carolyn Willis. We were in a group together, and the name of that group was Willis, Matthews, and Clark. Mm-hmm. The glue that held all that together was a singer by the name of Shirley Matthews, Sherli. If you don't know about her, you got to Google this girl.
I'm about to. Wait, spell it one more time. Spell it one more time.
Sherli. You're going to fall off your chair. Matthews. Okay. When you see her list of credits, she was doing probably all the backgrounds back in the day. Somehow, I don't even remember how I met her, but she said, I know another girl named Carolyn Willis. We're going to sing together and we're going to do sessions. So see, this is where the sessions came in.
Okay.
So I started singing with Carolyn and Shirley, and we were called Willis, Matthews, and Clark. We're doing club dates, theaters, that kind of thing. And then Carolyn, who did all the soprano work back in the day, sometime if a producer couldn't get Carolyn Willis, they would postpone their session until she was free. She was that bad, okay? She would sing with Edna. And I think sometimes maybe one of the Waters, Julia and Maxine, they're great. Okay, Google them.
I'm making notes. You see me making notes. Yeah.
And Orrin Waters, they're called the Waters. They were doing a lot of session work, but Darlene Love, Edna Wright's sister, and the Blossoms, of course, they were doing, a lot too. But there was so much work to go around then. You could just do 3 sessions a day, which is what we were doing.
Okay.
Me, Shirley, and Carolyn. Okay, so Darlene Love could not do, she was always triple booked. They could not do the Andy Williams special. And so Edna got her spillover work back in the day, even with the Blossoms. She could be part of the Blossoms sometimes. So he said, the Andy Williams show, the special with Burt Bacharach, Dionne Warwick, Edna, can you do it? Edna said, fine. I need to find 2 girls. So she called Carolyn, and then Carolyn called me and said, I do work with Edna Wright sometimes. It's another girl, we're going to do the Andy Williams. So fine. I met Edna for the first time at the studio with Burt Bacharach, Andy Williams, Dionne Warwick, and so we I don't know if you saw that clip, but
it was in 1968. It was an amazing clip. Absolutely.
Clip. Verdine was in here watching TV one day, and somehow or another, that clip happened to come on TV. He came running upstairs. I thought the house was on fire. And he said, babe, come down here. You're on television with Andy. And it was that very same clip. And he said, how fascinating. I'm just watching TV and there you are. And I said, and you know what? That was the making of the Honeycomb, because Edward Holland was watching us at Edna's urging, because they wanted to sign her as a solo. She said, nope, I want to be in a group. Tell me what you think of these three girls. And of course, Edward loved it. And so,
and it was supposed to be one date, right? I just want to make sure I understand that. You, going into that special, we're talking about the Andy Williams TV special from 1968 for the folks who want to Google it or go on YouTube because there are clips available for that one. So going into that night, you thought it was one date and you didn't know that Eddie Holland would be in the audience and that it would just one date, and it turned into the Honeycomb. Is that correct? That's the way it went.
Eddie Holland was home in Detroit watching. And he called Edna the next day and said, this was great. I want to sign you girls. And, sadly, I just wasn't with it at the time. I didn't really want to be in a group. And I was real nervous about, I knew that Holland Dozier had just broken away from
Motown. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so I was a little bit unsure of what we were getting into. So I held out a little bit. And maybe 3 months in, they said, Shelly, we really are missing a golden opportunity here. You really need to reconsider. Because I told them, take another girl and go signed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, who would have thought? Because that was one of my questions to you. So the label was what was the name of the label? Tell the people. It was
Hot Wax Records.
Hot Wax Records.
With a sister label called Invictus. With another sister label called Merchant.
Now that one I didn't know.
Some other labels that I didn't know about, but I think Chairman and Frida Payne were on Invictus. Honeycomb and maybe Glass House.
Mm-hmm.
Glass House. Were they on Hot Wax? They may have been on Hot Wax. So there were three labels there.
Go ahead, Rashid. You look about Glass House, but I wanted to ask, so were they all? Because my understanding was that Hot Wax was the Holland Dozier Holland imprint. But then I saw Invictus, and I didn't know whether Invictus was the distributor or whatever it was. So, but Hot Wax was a brand new imprint that Holland Dozier Holland had founded, basically as they were separating from Motown, right? So there was a lot of uncertainty in their future. That's the point that I want to make sure that the audience understands. So, right? So that's why you were initially a little bit like, oh, I don't know. If they were still with Motown, would you have been a little bit faster to sign the contract? Maybe. Because you weren't sure if you wanted to be in a group at all, right?
No, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And I had heard, horrible stories about the acts weren't getting paid. What they should have been, and they weren't getting royalties, and they were working long hours on the road. And so I was, my bad. I was fearful from stories with no proof, but there were enough artists that were saying these things. So I just figured, why not, just 86 being in a group completely and just do some solo stuff,
and it sounds like you were really enjoying the independence. You were kind of running your own show in a way, right? With the session work and pursuing the solo work, right?
I was.
Mm-hmm.
I was.
So what brought you over? What brought you over the top? I guess it was kind of like a wait and let's see what happens kind of approach you took. It couldn't hurt, right?
Well, it was pressure from the two girls. And they were making me feel I was a little bit guilt-ridden. And they said, Shelly, they're going to do a lot for us. Just make one meeting in Detroit. And so that's exactly what I did. And I made a meeting in Detroit, and they had a glowing list of things that they wanted to do for us, charm school and choreographers and stylists and what do you need? What do you need us to do for you? And so I thought that was, okay, that's impressive. They really want to make sure that we get off on the right foot. And they did everything they said they would do. They put us in charm school, which we hated because we were from LA and we thought we knew everything. But
well, yeah, because that could go either way. I would think that as sort of the premiere act or one of the first acts out of the gate, right? Because your first single was Hot Wax's first single. So, I would think that you'd be in a sort of an advantageous position because as goes the quality of your recording goes the sort of the coming out of their label. You know what I mean? So that's why I figured there would be a good time.
I want Rashid to also Google the politicians because McKinley Jackson was part of that group, or that was his group. And I believe that for a long time I thought Honeycomb was the first artist to sign with Hot Wax, but I really think that this band, the Politicians, were. And I believe that they were doing all the session work, or at least a lot of it, for the artists that were recording. So they were a fantastic band, and McKinley Jackson was a great contractor. He was the one that I think discovered, Ray Parker Jr. played on all of our stuff. Mm-hmm. So Ghostbusters, for anybody that doesn't remember Ray.
Yeah, who you gonna call? Who you gonna call? But it's so much deeper than that. Also, yeah, Rashid, you have an answer. What is it?
Okay, so
now Ray Parker was 16 years old
at this time. At the time in the
right. So is this the Politicians that were a group out of Tokoroa, New Zealand?
No, man, I don't think so. New Zealand? That doesn't sound right. I think we're
okay. Google McKinley Jackson. No,
that's what you want. Okay. And so while he's doing, we're gonna let him do his preliminary pass at the research, right?
Okay.
and talk about so the next song was let's talk about the preparation of this, to set up this next tune. So Girls It Ain't Easy. Actually, this is another one that kind of, I mean, it says it went to number 8 on the R&B chart. What? Oh Lord, he's excited. What you got? Hold on for a second. We have to let him jump in. He's very animated.
Yes, the Politicians is a soul funk band, in-house Detroit band from recording Hot Wax 4 and Invictus labels, the same role the Funk Brothers had.
Okay, so what we need is like the earliest date, right? Like we want to see if they signed or when they signed versus Honeycomb. That's the data point we're looking for there, or what the first release was.
Let's see, 1971.
Yeah, but we're down to the month here because Honeycomb was 1971 also. You got to go in deeper. So you know what we're gonna do? I want to go. Let's talk about. So after the signing of Honeycomb was in 1969, right? Like it was short because the Andy Williams special was 1968. And so you signed with Honeycomb in 1969, and while you're looking for Sugar, spent 8 weeks on the R&B chart, peaked at number 26. But there's the follow-up that actually came out in September of this was released in September of '69. So if the first release for the other group is 1971, I think you guys edged them out because Girls It Ain't Easy came out in '69. So I think you guys were still number 1.
Okay.
Yeah, right? Correct, Rashid? Right? They're saying 1960 for the Politicians, right? 1971?
Yes.
It's you guys. You're the premiere. You're the first ones. So let's play the second single and keep telling the story of Honeycomb because this one heated up the charts a little bit more.
Girls It Ain't Easy?
Yes.
Girls It Ain't Easy. It's my all-time favorite Honeycomb song.
And why is that?
I love the beat. I love the chord structure. I love the harmonies. I don't know. It just goes with my soul.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you which. I have a favorite Honeycomb of mine. I don't think it's any song that you'd guess. We'll get there. I'll tell you what it is. But she asked it before I can even answer it. You're a phenomenal guest, Miss Shelly. Shelly's favorite, the number 2, or rather the second single release from 1969. This is Girls It Ain't Easy. Come back with us on Black Gold, talking to Shelly Clark White in just a minute.
One you love by your side.
from 1969. Yes, that is. I see you enjoying yourself over there, Shelly. We like that one. Girls, It Ain't Easy. Peaked at number 8 in November 1969 on the R&B chart. And that was the second single by the Honeycombs. Still in the building phase, right? And I don't think you were entirely convinced. You didn't put all your eggs in one basket, because you then went and did some dancing on a television show. you said, I don't know about this. So tell us about that.
Well, I thought my honeycomb days were over when I landed this job with Jim Neighbors. Every week, 3 days of work a week. One was rehearsal, one was dress rehearsal, and the last day was showtime, and like making $600 to $800 a week clear. And I thought I died and went to heaven.
Okay, I've seen the promised land. Absolutely. Yeah.
I said, you know, Honeycomb, I love you guys, but we're this is taking too long now. I got a good, and every week they would call and say, Edward Holland said, get off that damn show. We want fresh faces. We don't want people to recognize you by the time this group takes off. And I said, this group may not take off, okay? So I got bills to pay.
Amen.
And so little did I know, all of a sudden, Want Ads hit.
Right.
And then it was a wrap. And I went to the producers of the show and I said, hey, you guys, I didn't tell you this, but I was in a group and the record just went to number 1 and I have to leave and to go back to Detroit. And they said, oh, no, you don't, little missy. You signed a contract. And so they didn't want to let me off the show. And they said, if you give us someone that is exactly like you, we will let you off the show. And I said, oh my God, who do I call?
I don't think I can do that.
Yeah, I know. I was calling girls left, right, and center because I knew I didn't want to get sued. And so the girl that replaced me was, you're going to have to Google, Alex Brown, one of the Raylettes. And I actually did a Dusty Springfield tour with Alex Brown. So I was very familiar with her voice and her work. She came and saved me. And I was able to get off the show. And she was a great, they needed the token black. There were 3 other white girls and myself. And so I actually managed to get my brother on the show with me when I left also.
After you left, okay.
Google Alex Brown. She's the bomb.
He's Googling. Listen, I've already decided, Rashid, she's moving too fast. She's got too many. So what we're going to have to do, we're going to have to play this back and make a list and just go on ahead and just book the rest of the season out with all these people. That's what's going to happen, all right?
That's right.
Just bring them. I'll do my homework later on, Miss Shelly. I'm trying to stay in the moment,
Okay, staying in the moment.
But keep them coming by all means. However, you did say that Want Ads hit, and that's what took you away from Jim Neighbors. How did that hit for you? Because we always hear that story of, I was on my way to the beauty parlor, and all of a sudden it was blasting from everybody's car. Like that I realized it was a hit story. What's your I realized Want Ads was a hit story?
I started hearing it a lot on the radio. I had mixed emotions because I knew I was going back to Detroit. To get involved now. I'm getting deeper, now I know we have to prepare to go on the road. I'm still, jury is out with this touring business and, answering to managers and record company people. And then you have 2 girls you have to consider, and they weren't the happiest all the time because we're battling the company who's telling the other 2 girls, you can't wear blonde hair. And they both had blonde hair, by the way. I had dark hair at the time. So it was always a battle of some kind. But we knew we had to work through it. And they gave us Charlie Atkins, the wonderful Google adversary.
I know Charlie Atkins. Charlie Atkins was the great choreographer who made everybody look good. The Temptations, and I think he even worked with J5 a little bit. But Charlie Atkins, Google it, Rashid. See, Rashid. No, don't Google now, Rashid. He's punch drunk. He's punch drunk. You can't take anymore.
Rashid and Excedrin. But he used to. Charlie called us his female pip. See, he forgot that we were L.A. girls, and we were sassy and crazy, and we knew everything. But we came out there and slayed the harmonies. We slayed the choreography, and we were his female pips because we could move pretty good. And so I forgot what the question was.
No, it was, and you were getting there. You said you were hearing One As played a lot. When did you know it was did it go to number one? And then you said, okay, well, I think we may have something here. Was that when you realized, well we've arrived?
When they told us that the Rolling Stones had dominated the number one spot with their song Brown Sugar, and Honeycomb came up behind them and kicked them off the chart, I said, oh my God, I guess this is going to be all about something right now. And
it's time to pack your bags and go, and off you went. So let's celebrate that number one, Rashid. You got the One Ads for me?
Yes.
All right. So I couldn't have said it. How does it go? Experience in love preferred, but we will take a young trainee, right?
We'll accept. Mm-hmm.
True. We'll accept. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you. My friend's gonna nail me. She's very lyrically precise. She's watching me, laughing at me right now. All right. So number one, it went to number one. It's the big one. Let's turn it up for Black Gold. We're at we're 10 minutes into the second hour. My goodness.
Wow.
Time flies when you're having fun, and we've just hit number one. So turn it up, ladies and gentlemen. It's the One Ads, Honeycomb on Black Gold. Enjoy. Hey, that one never gets old, baby. It went to number one on the pop charts. It went to number one on the R&B charts. It did Canada. Well, you did some work in Canada too, But that's the One Ads, the number one, the big one, the gold, the million seller, as it were, right?
Yes.
From 1971. So you were off and running from then. So after that, I imagine that changed the texture or the energy around your touring, and I imagine that the whole experience probably took on a higher octane at that point, no?
Yes. And we were the first artists to appear on Soul Train, and we were Don Cornelius's Extraordinary Canaries, and we did that very first show with Gladys Knight, Eddie Kendricks, and I'm missing one more name. Maybe somebody in the chat will remind me. Another gentleman.
As a matter of fact, I would like to open up, if it's okay with you, Miss Shelly, because I know that we have some friends and fans of yours hanging out in the chat. If they want to give us a call, this is around the point where into the second hour where we open up the phone lines. So if they know the answer, they can feel free to give us a call at 310-910-9676 extension 1. That's 310-910-9676 extension 1. If you know the answer, who was on that Soul Train episode, because I knew it was Gladys Knight and I knew it was Eddie Kendricks, and I did not. That's all I got. So let's see what they've got.
Right, and also for Shelly, your friend Kat says hello.
Shelly's good friend Kat is in the house, so maybe Kat knows the answer. Kat, you want to call us if you know who was on the show?
Well,
help
she's
us out.
New Orleans, and we call her Katie, but find it, Katie.
Yes. But yeah, it's an immortal song, and yet still, because I said we're a little bit close to my favorite. I want to kind of nudge this along, right? We want to get to my favorite Honeycombs tune, which is the one after this next one. But you had another hit that followed on after the one as, and this is now Stick Up. Let's talk about Stick Up. When you first heard it, because most of these songs were essentially written by the same team, correct? So when they brought you One Ads, did you feel more strongly about One Ads or strongly about Stick Up than you did versus maybe One Monkey Don't Stop No Show? Like, did any of these come out when they were brought to you as songs as this feels special to record kind of things, or what? Did they all kind of feel the same when you were making them?
Well, with One Ads, that backstory is interesting because it wasn't for us in the beginning. That was recorded on the Glass House first, and I understand even Frida Payne, our label mate, may have done a version of it too, and possibly one or two more artists. There's a lot of conflicting stories as to how the song transitioned to us, but let's just say it just did. Mm-hmm. And Edna heard it and said, you know what? I can record that and make it a hit, and that's exactly what she did. But that song bounced around to a few people before coming to us, but once it did, it stopped right there. And so with Stick Up, I believe that our producer, our A-team, our dream team, sort of knew that they had a good formula, let's put it that way, and they figured, okay, One Ads was a hit, let's duplicate that energy. And Stick Up sounds a little bit like One Ads, but with a different energy and different lyrics, but it's maybe the same it's in the same type of vein there.
I hear you.
You might be able to sing the lyrics and the tune Stick Up to the track One Ads in some places. So they said we got a good thing going, let's stay with it.
And so it was kind of I wouldn't say assembly line, right? But it was right. Almost formula, right? And yet these are the two that sort of rise to the top in the catalog, right? I mean, these are the tunes that you guys are still outperforming now. You have talk about the current incarnation of Honeycomb really quickly.
Okay, when you say current, you mean what's going on at
now? At present, because you're still on the road with these songs. You've got a couple more folks on stage with you. Talk about that.
Well.
No, maybe not at the moment. The new members.
Right, not at the moment. Right, the new girls are just two great girls that actually I cheated because one of the girls is married to the outstanding drummer in Earth, Wind and Fire, and her name is Kathy Merrick. She was with the Sounds of the Supremes and also Shades of Lace, shortened to Lace.
Okay.
And so since I could get to her really quickly because we did a lot of dinners together, at one of the dinners I said, Kathy, we should put the Honeycombs back together. And she was like, okay. I said, but you got to find me a third girl. And she said, okay, I know the perfect person. And so in which case she called Wendy Smith Brunet, who was on tour with the legendary, she was the first woman of color to tour with the legendary Glenn Miller Orchestra. And so she sent her like a text or a Facebook message in the middle of the night because they were in Australia or somewhere, and she said, I want to talk to you about something. And so as soon as the tour ended, Wendy came back, and we had a meeting sort of / rehearsal, and we sounded great together, and that's how that group was born.
Got it. And you still managed to, I'm sure, sort of raise the roof. When you do this one every night, I imagine it must get like, and this must be the peak of the evening for the audience, right? This must take them right back to 1971 when you do this one. So I want to make sure that we spin the other gold record for Honeycomb, right? The top of the mountain here. So you ready for me, Rashid?
Right.
From 1971, hang out for me, Miss Shelly. This is Stick Up on Black Gold. Take it. It went to number 1 soul, number 11 pop, number 23 in Canada, number 7 on Cashbox. That's Stick Up. But Miss Shelly, I'm going to ask you to hang back for 1 second because I want to cram one in right now. I told you that I have a favorite, and it's not the favorite that you think is the favorite. This one, Miss Shelly, is my favorite, and it didn't chart, so we're going to just roll it, okay? So I love this one. I love a good soul ballad, and I think y'all nailed this one. This is Who's It Gonna Be, Y'all, by Honeycomb. If you don't know this one, this is my favorite. Let's enjoy it, Black Gold.
I've got something on my mind I've wanted to say for quite some time. I think you know what I want to say, 'cause I'm sure it's been bothering you too. You've gotten yourself involved a little too deep, and you can't find a way to work it out. Well, I've gone along as far as I can, and the time has come for us to talk it out. I'm sure she wants to know too, just what you intend to do. Won't you be man enough? Oh, just let me know. Who's it gonna be? Her or me? Love can't be
just hate to start talking over it. I just hate to start talking over it. It's just so good. My good. That is soul music at its finest. Who's it gonna be? Her or me? Who's gonna be Rashid? Who's it gonna be? Answer the question, man.
I'm gonna pick her.
I respect your decision. I got no chart positions for that one because it's just too good. You know, that was a misstep. That was to not put that one out as a like single. I don't know if it gets single airplay nowadays or whatever, but I know that it got played a lot in my house, and it continues to get played a lot in my house. You know, but that's Who's It Gonna Be, and that's from the record. The record is called Soulful Tapestry, right? It's still from that one. Whew. Are you okay, Miss Shelly?
Hanging out.
You're hanging in there with me? Yeah, you know what I mean? We have to, we're going to, as part of the format, we go through the honeycomb, we go through the singles, right? So the next chronological single is, the next one? I'm sorry, I don't have it right in front of me. Computers were jumping around here. The next chronological single is The Day I Found Myself, right? Is that a personal favorite of yours?
Actually,
yeah.
It's a personal favorite of a lot of people on our official Honeycomb Facebook page.
Okay.
And especially one of our head moderators, he happens to be a reverend, and this is his favorite, hands down. And it's the very first song that when the new Honeycomb got together, this is the first song that we practiced with, and it was perfect. You know, we had to test to see where our harmony and blend was. So it was perfect. It's a great song. It's a great song
with a really, really, with a lyric. What a lyric. You know what I mean? It's just a really amazing lyric. So we want to make sure that we give proper space to the Honeycomb singles. I want to make sure that we play this one. We're getting to my goodness, the middle of the second hour already. Is that possible? So we want to spin this one, and then I want to talk about something that's a little bit outside the Honeycomb. How do we say this? The Honeycomb catalog, the oeuvre of Honeycomb. It would be something. The songs that you love that you didn't sing on. Remember that question I asked you about the desert island? Your top fives? Yes. Okay. So I want to make sure that we do that with you when we get back. But first of all, Rashi, let's make sure that, because this is so beautiful. And for fans of Black Gold who don't listen to the extensive Honeycomb catalog, I recommend that you do try to find all the albums that were released. But this is another like incredible lyric. So this one's also from 1971. It went to number 23 on the pop charts, also number 8 on R&B charts. See, that's the thing. These songs always go higher R&B because we just know what's good, you know? But this is The Day I Found Myself. And then we'll be right back with Shelly Clark White's top 5s after this one on Black Gold. Talk to you in a minute, Miss Shelly.
There's probably a lot of you girls out there hung up on a man, and you're caught in that old familiar way of wanting someone that don't want you. You know, men are full of schemes, and they're masters of getting control of our minds and making us dependent on them. Well, girls, I was in that weekend boat on troubled waters for years, and believe me, I've been through it all. But this fool got wise. I remember a man I used to love, or thought I loved, and he used to treat me any old way. But still, I loved the ground he walked on. I was blind as a bat, and I couldn't see for looking. And when he left, I thought my world ended. But you know, time soon healed my wounds, and I found a new beginning. I just wish he was here, so I could tell him. As I look back to the day you left me, I felt alive, had to say goodbye. As time went by, tears began to dry. Now I see you never really cared. Life is wonderful when love is shared. The day that I lost you, there's
lost you, baby. Because sometimes you got to let them go. Let them go if you want to find who you are. The day I lost you. The day I found myself, as I said, number 23 pop, number R&B, number 8 on the R&B charts. That's the day that I found myself. So now, this is the time that all Black Gold community members or the family gathers. We enjoy putting people through this. Rashid, be prepared, okay? Because I have a feeling that Miss Shelly Clark White is about to put you through your paces, okay? So you you got the crates ready? It is that time, ladies and gentlemen. It is time for the top fives. The question is, if you've been given an advance warning that you're about to be dropped on a desert island, and you got to pick 5 albums, not singles, not box sets, albums. You got to take 5 albums with you because a box set would really help you on the desert island. But 5 albums you have to bring with you to the desert island. What would they be? We're going to pose the question to Miss Shelly Clark White, and I understand you've got 5 for me. So what is number 5 that you would bring with you on the desert island, Miss Shelly Clark?
So 5, I would have to say that there is a musical called Damn Yankees.
Okay.
And this whole album is fantastic. 6 months out of every year is the very first song that's on this album. And it's dynamic. The movie and the play is dynamic. I told you before that I'm a Broadway
baby.
Broadway baby. And so these are the things that I grew up listening to. It wasn't a lot of gospel in the house, and very little R&B, but some more, I want to say, jazz and show tunes. So 6 months out of every year, Damn Yankees.
Is that the original Broadway cast recording of Damn Yankees you're saying you would bring?
I think it is.
Okay.
The original
Broadway, right? Okay. And you say so 6 months out of every year is a song.
Yes.
Okay, because we talk about...
The album is Damn Yankees.
Right, because here's the thing about this question. See, the album is intended to be a sort of sonic experience, right, a journey that you can take from beginning to the middle to the end, which is why, an album would provide a certain sustenance if you're on the island, whereas the song, you're going to have to keep repeating that song, So we'll take anything on that album, right? That's the thing. That's what makes it ideal, like one of those albums that you don't have to skip any tracks on, right? So
exactly.
Okay, so her number 5, Rashid, is the official Broadway soundtrack album for Damn Yankees. What would be number 4, Miss Shelly Clark White?
Okay, so number 4, there was a group on our label, so underrated. They're called, the group was the Smith Connection. And these were 3 brothers. They could play, sing, play every instrument, sing, produce, arrange. And the name of that album was called Under My Wings. And they were on the Music Merchant label. Music Merchant.
Interesting.
And the name, like I said, they are called the Smith Connection. Every song is fantastic, but may not be in your crate, so I'm not sure.
Oh, well, the man looks excited now. There's not only an album, Smith Connection, but there's also the title song, right? Under My Wings is also the name of the song. We got it, right? We got a 4-minute thing here. Okay, let's hear a little bit of that, because I knew she was. Now this is the thing. This is Black Gold. Black Gold is an educational program. You understand what I'm saying? So I'm getting educated as well. So let me hear a little bit of that, Rashid. The Under My Wings title song by the Smith Connection. Let's give it a minute and a half. Come on.
And like an eagle
I am not mad at that. I'm not mad at that. I'm going to need to listen to the rest of that album. I feel enlightened. Are you excited, audience? We're learning so much. Okay, that's number 4. I am not mad at that. It's got that classic sound that makes you go, have I heard this before? But I don't think so. It feels pretty fresh. I'm going to want to listen to that whole album. Thank you. So what's number 3?
Okay, so I guess number 3 would be I'm in love with the Emotions and their album Rejoice. And not because my husband is playing on all those tracks, but Best of My Love is my number 1 song. And so I'd have to say Rejoice by the Emotions.
All right, so that and that would be for Best of My Love. All right, I'm not gonna put, because we play that one a lot. So
okay.
Well, I'm gonna give you the moment off, Rashid. So that would that would be number 3. We're going to number 2, and be ready for that one. So what you got, Shelly Clark? Number 2 on your list. Yeah.
Number 2. I want to say anything by Toni Braxton, but probably her album, I guess it was self-entitled, Toni Braxton.
The
maybe
first
that one that came out, yes, and that's my girl right there. Anything she did, you can't go wrong.
Mm-hmm. Now, see, Breathe Again would be my choice from that. As soon as you said the first record, I heard If I Never Breathe Again. That is a genius. That's it. But you're right. It's a genius record. All right. So number 1, we're doing this in ascending order. What's the number
ascending.
1? Ascending.
Well,
yeah.
Well,
but before you give me your number 1, though, can I just ask you, did you because I see you're referencing notes. Did you go through various drafts of this list, or what?
No,
you didn't.
I actually talked it over with my husband this morning, because I was, when you have to think that hard, you draw a blank.
Yeah.
And he said no. Think of the records that you really, really love, and then get the album. So
right.
That's what I was doing. I mean, I had to whittle it down. I had too many, and I mean, a lot of them were show tunes. Sorry to say, Rashid.
It's okay. Listen, I have. You said "damn Yankees." When I was 10 years old, I learned there's nothing like a dame, nothing, and that's from "Damn Yankees" also, right?
Yeah.
See, listen, yeah. we are eclectic folks.
No, I don't. You know what? I don't think so.
Oh, Lord, I done messed up. My 6th grade teacher, Mrs. Deal, I'm so sorry. I thought that she taught us something.
I come from a musical background, because I did the play Cabaret, and I did John Lennon and Me. I've done a musical plays before.
We're not doubting your cred.
Cabaret.
I'm just Cabaret is pretty musical. Yeah. Okay. All right. Let's not go off. Let's not get
somewhere else. But what about Kismet? Because Kismet with Howard Keel is one of my all-time favorites.
Wait.
I'm sorry. That's a musical album choice?
Kismet is a musical album, and it was trending on Honeycomb Page the other day. And if you don't know this musical, you have to watch it, because a lot of great songs came from. So that soundtrack is.
No, I'm not as familiar with it.
My Hand, I'm a Stranger in Paradise.
Okay.
What else?
I'm looking. Go ahead, Rashid. Tell me.
Kismet from 1955.
From that, yeah, that's probably But what's does it have the individual tracks on it? No. All right. Okay. Well, while we're looking for that, because I don't think that was your number 1 choice.
I know they're up there. Okay, so
yeah, he's got the tracks. Go ahead, run them.
Fire has
okay, hold on. I got the tracks. Yeah. Okay. So we got 2 Worlds, Lost Language, Surreal.
Yeah, this is striking me as new. There's none of these are my audition songs. See, that's how I got to learn. That's how I got.
Yeah, a rave set. Carry Me Down.
Is this something that a man can sing for an audition? If not, I don't know it.
Let's skip over that.
It's a shame. That's the only way I learn songs. Oh, thank you for pull me out the fire, Shelly Clark. All right. So, but we got time. So, whatever her number 1 is it's an Earth, Wind, and Fire album. It's her number 1 choice for the Desert Island. That's where we want you. And what would the album be?
I hope I'm not in trouble. It's a double album. It's not a box set, but it's a double album, and it's called Faces.
I think that slides by. I think that gets by on a technicality because it was released as a double album. So as such, yes. All right. So Faces double album. We have to represent that album. So give me a tune that we can play from it to excite the people, because it's a double album. There's a lot of songs, right?
No, it's so many, and they're all good. It's an underrated album, but it happens to be a favorite in this house. But "Sail Away" is a great song.
You heard the lady, Rashid. You got her?
Yep.
All right. So I thank you for playing Miss Shelly Clark. Top fives. Real quickly, we want to make sure that we let the people know not only what she said, but what it sounds like. So Sail Away from Earth, Wind, and Fire. And we'll be right back to wrap up with you because we're just about out of time. But I've got 2 more questions for you before we go, okay? So real quick, a little bit of her number 1. This is Shelly Clark's number 1. We got Sail Away by EWF on Black Gold. Come on. From the Earth, Wind, and Fire album, Faces, that Sail Away, at the recommendation of Ms. Verdine White, Ms. Shirley, listen to me. Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. Okay, Shelly Clark White. That's why I said I have to choose one name, especially when you hyphenate. That's like 3 different opportunities to make a mistake. So Clark White, but I screwed up the first one. There you go. Listen, it's been such a pleasure talking to you. This has been so much fun. There's a lot more music, of course, that we could play from Honeycomb, but we're Music Talk hybrid. We play as much music as we possibly can. I do want to make sure, though, that we, before we let you go, there's going to be a little bit, I want to make sure that we play like another one of my favorite Honeycomb cuts, and I think we talked about this a little bit before the show, that tune Ace in the Hole. Right, it's like a sleeper. You know what I mean? It's really a good one. I don't know that the audience is familiar with it, so I want to make sure that even though there's not a whole lot to say about that with regard to like commercial performance, it didn't. There's no chart positions, but it's another one of those songs that you're saying that people are discovering. Yes.
Yes. And actually, we're going to put that in the brand new Honeycomb show. Just because, when you hear it, you'll say, oh, yeah, that's great beat, great lyrics. Mm-hmm. Once again, we're setting you straight. You're free to go.
Mm-hmm. However, let the choice be yours. And it's from 1972. Still sounds incredibly fresh. So let's talk about your plans going forward for the new Honeycomb show, as you just said. What are the plans, or what would you like to see happen?
We're coming out of COVID, so we're still being very careful and taking it slow, and so we've got to get back into rehearsals like we did before all of this happened, and just keeping it out there. So we're available for touring and that kind of thing. We have some offers. And we actually had one one of us doesn't live in LA. One of the girls live in Virginia Beach. Mm-hmm. And so, but she also works a lot outside of Honeycomb. So, right now we're just trying to schedule and position and get some rehearsals in and figure out, we're almost going to get to a show in August. I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think we can get to it fast enough. Mm-hmm. But, moving forward, we have a lot that we're going to get to. So
I mean, maybe this might seem fairly obvious and on the nose, but as Shelly's mentioned a couple of times, her husband is the music luminary, one of the geniuses behind Earth, Wind and Fire, Verdine White, right? So, and a round of applause for Verdine White for being Verdine White. Come on, Rashid, get on it. Okay, yeah. Thank you. Because listen, next time I say Verdine White, just hit the button. Don't even ask any questions. Just hit the button. Okay. But it seems like the most obvious. Why is there not a show with EWF and the Honeycomb on it? I mean, are these promoters asleep? It just seems. Come on, tell Verdine to call me. We can make this. Yeah. It just seems such an obvious. You know what I mean? Go on out there, do a couple of tunes with EWF. I'd pay good money for that.
Right.
Putting it out in the universe.
Okay, we'll put it out there. That they don't usually have an opening act anymore, but who's to say? Who am I? What do I know? Stranger things have happened. So, like you said, we'll leave it out there.
But in any event, are you still working? So, part the composition of the current group, are you still with? It's you. Who's in the group now? Is it you and
Wendy Smith-Bernay and Kathy Merrick, whose husband is with Earth, Wind and Fire, and has been the drummer for, I want to say, 20 years. But before that, he was the musical director for Karen White and Patti LaBelle. And so you know what kind of drummer he is. And he has played on a lot of our stuff, too.
Absolutely. Well, anytime you guys reconstitute, I'm keeping my eye open. We're going to make sure that we post in a few minutes. We're going to make sure that we post the link to the official Honeycomb Facebook group on the Black Gold page for anyone who wants to follow and make sure you know what's going on with that group. But anytime you guys reconstitute, anywhere you go, we're going to make sure that we show. I can't speak for Rashid. I don't know, but I'll go on ahead and fire up old Bessie and make sure that I show my face in the place, because I want to make sure that I support you and support this music. And I congratulate you for continuing to go strong after all these years, and just wish you nothing but the best, and really, really, really so very deeply appreciate your time today.
Thank you, Tariq. And thank you, Rashid.
Absolutely. It's
Not
been
a
a
problem.
pleasure. It's been a pleasure. So we're going to close out our special time with Black Music Month. Now, before I do this, by the way, I should mention to our audience, I had so much stuff for you. Do you know there's a new song out from Diana Ross? So you're going to have to come back next week to hear that.
Thank you.
Okay? Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you again. Yes. We're going to play that. Don't have time. Somebody else, Lettucey, and who was that? Lettucey and somebody with 3 names did a remake of a Donny Hathaway and Roberta thing I was going to play.
Brian Courtney Wilson.
There you go. Come back next week so that we can talk about music history being recreated today, because as I said to Miss Shelly, music history is history, but it continues to live today. These songs come back, these people come back, and I think we're going to have another interview next week that'll knock your socks off. But we're going to close right now with some more Honeycomb. This would be, tell them the name of it one more time, Miss Shelley. Oh, she forgot which one I said. Okay, we're going to close with Ace in the Hole.
Oh, Ace in the Hole. Okay.
Yeah. The sleeper hit, the one that you may not have heard of, but you're going to wish you did after we play this one. Thank you, Shelly Clark White, for your time. Thank you, everyone, for listening. And we're closing out with Honeycomb, Ace in the Hole on Black Gold. Take good care. Come on.
Get on up. You're playing a losing hand. Now get on up. I got a new old man. Oh, you're free to go. I got an ace in the hole, a shoulder to cry on, someone to rely on. Oh, you're free to go. I got an ace in the hole. When your love forsakes me, it'll be there to take me. You gave me love from the bottom of the depth. The love we built, let another wreck. You were two-timing, just loving another. But I played my cards right when I found me a lover. Oh, you're free to go. I got an ace in the hole, a shoulder to cry on, someone to rely on. Oh, you're free to go. I got an ace in the hole. When your love forsakes me, he'll be there to take me. Feeling and a dealing. Now you lost the feeling. I was afraid one day you'd leave, and to ease the pain, I slipped a card up my sleeve. I knew you were cheating. I could see it on your face, but I didn't wanna leave, so I played it safe. Oh, you're free to go. I got an ace in the hole. When your love forsakes me, he'll be there to take me. Get on up. You're playing a losing hand. Now get on up. I got a new old man. Oh, you're free to go. I got an ace in the hole, a shoulder to cry on, someone to rely on. Oh, you're free to go. I got an ace in the hole. When your love forsakes me.
Ace in the Hole, y'all. That would be Honeycomb. And we're right up on that moment, Rashid. Could it possibly fit that neatly? Is it time to go? How much time I got?
Got about like 10 seconds.
10 seconds. Okay. So in 10 seconds, what can I say? Happy Juneteenth, everyone. We'll be back next week. I could say something flip, but I'm going to be on good behavior because Miss Shelly's still in the house with us. But I thank everyone for paying attention, for tuning in. Make sure you text us at 917-809-7145 to stay in touch with us on Black Gold. We'll be back next week to celebrate Black Music Month with another great interview. You don't want to miss who we've got coming up next week. But this is the point in the show where we celebrate, or we shout out all the community partners or local Black businesses who provide material and other support to our show and by extension Accelerated Network and Academy. Thank you, Kevin Nash, the boss man. Thank you for providing us this space every week. Thank you to our new followers on YouTube and on Facebook. We see you all. Welcome to the party. Thank you, Rashid, as always, my co-pilot. Couldn't do this without you. Text Black Gold to 917-809-7145 and stay tuned for James the Music Man and Classic Jams. Remember, y'all, life's a celebration and every day you wake up, you're invited. I'm Tariq King. Bye.
Black gold, black gold. You are black gold. You are black gold, black gold. You are black gold.
Black Gold is a production of King Things, LLC, and Accelerated Radio Network, Los Angeles, California.
Black gold. You are.
All right, for Rashid's sake, congratulations to the Clippers for making whatever it is you made.
What's the conference finals?
Whatever.